Hello, and welcome to my new series, A Quote a Day Keeps the Cobwebs Away. And yes, that may seem like an odd title for a segment that I'm doing. Here's the fact. Most of us, when we leave high school or college at age 18, 22, 26, wherever it is, we stop learning. We build upon what we've had, we have life experiences, but we never fully engage with the classroom again. We never learn anything more about ourselves. Not that we ever really did, even in college and high school. We just went with what we were taught as children and built upon that. But for most of us, the learning stops. And I think that's sad. I mean, I love learning. I could be a lifelong student because I enjoy it. Yes, we learn things at work, right? We learn technical things. And some of us, depending on our career path, have to do continuing education. I came out of the healthcare world. So every 2 years, I have to get a license, which, by the way, I still have. And I have to do continuing education to make sure I stay up on the new treatments and things that are out in the community, such as the COVID pandemic. And some of you as well have things that you need to learn at work. If you're in the teaching industry or other industries, even like real estate, you have to renew a license. It's generally the licensed professions where you have to do a little bit of continuing education. Now, that is really education for your job, right? For your career path. It doesn't really teach you anything about you. So, in that vein, those are the cobwebs I'm going to try to clear out. We're just going to do a quote a day. We're going to unpack it, and it's really to give you something to think about. Because you see, thinking is the key to success. It always has been. Mindset is that trigger. The way you think is the way it's going to be. So, in order to change what you're seeing in the mirror, what you're seeing in your future, what you're seeing in your life, you need to change the way you think. So, that's why we're doing the quote a day. So, we're going to start. Here we go. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forward. And that's a quote by Kierkegaard. So what does that mean? Life can only be understood backwards. Well, here's the deal. Most of us spend far too much time looking back, right? Understood backwards. This is my hourglass, and some of you that have studied with me have seen this many times because it's one of my favorite little props. Here's the deal. This is history. This is the past. We can learn from it, but we need to move on for it because it will serve us if we learn. But if we stay stuck here, this is where we will be, going nowhere. The past is history. The future is a mystery. And today, this moment in time, right now while I'm speaking, is the present. That's why we call it a gift, right? The gift of the present time. Because the truth is, no one knows how much time is left in the top of our hourglass. Not anybody. Time is the great equalizer. None of us has any more of it or less of it than anyone else on the planet. It is what it is. Our lives here are finite. We have a birth date, we have a death date. That is what we know. That is truth. How many dashes are in between there? How many pieces of sand? None of us know. We all hope to think it's far away in the future. And we believe that. And that's a good thing. But the truth is, we do not know. There's a power breathing us. There's a power causing our heart to beat. We don't control that. I don't sit here right now and say, heart start, heart stop. Lungs work, lungs don't work. No, that is totally out of my control. That's energy in my body, and it's being done for me. For how long? None of us know. So time is that equalizer. If you don't have enough time, someone else has more time than I do. No, they don't. That's the truth. So the hourglass is our equalizer. So why do we spend so much time looking backwards? You know, Steve Jobs has a quote as well saying, "We can only connect the dots looking backward, but somehow we have to believe they'll all line up in the future." And that's kind of a paraphrasing his quote. It's not exact. We can look back and connect dots all day long. We can say, this is what caused this, this is what caused this. And there's nothing wrong with that if it's for learning. If I do this, this is what's going to happen. You know, it's kind of like as we teach our children, right? You don't touch a hot oven or an iron or something like that. And you know, darn good and well, someday they're going to like, just check. Are they truthful? You know, did they do that? And then they learn. Okay, I guess I'm not going to do that again. And then they move on from that. It's in their past, they're never going to do it again. We learn things that way. Too many of us fear going into the future and fear living forward because of what others think or fear. And for that, we really have to take a look at ourselves and say, no, I am the most important person in my life. Some of you will hear that and say, wow, that's kind of conceited. It's not conceited. You are the only person, you are the number one person you should be taking care of. So if you don't take care of yourself, you really can't spread that to others. You have to take care of yourself first. And that, some of you needed to hear that. It's okay. It's not selfish. You see, and the other thing is, you can only change yourself. If you want to change something in your life, the only person you have responsibility for and can affect is yourself. So you have to change yourself before anything will change on the outside. So let's quit living in the past and let's live our life moving forward with using what we learned in the past, but just open a whole new opportunity for growth. Instead of saying, why not? Say, why? Why not, right? Like, why? I shouldn't say, why not? Instead of saying why or I can't, say, why not? Why not try? Why not give it a shot? My mom used to say a quote when I was little, and I really never understood it. You know, reach for the moon, you may land among the stars. I'm like, what does that mean? You know what that means? That means go for it. If you go for a big goal, you know what? You're going to end up better off than you are right now. You're going to end up, if you're here and you're shooting for the moon and you don't make it, you're going to be somewhere else, much better than you are today. Right? So don't be afraid to take chances. If it's fear that's holding you back, question that. Just say, why? Why do I have that fear? Most of us spend time worrying about the worst thing that can happen. And you know when the worst thing happens? Maybe 1% of the time, if that. We fear for something that's never going to happen. Let's start changing that. Let's move forward. And let's go for the best that can happen and start working on that moving forward. So that's it. A quote a day. Use that to start that thinking process. That's all. Catch you tomorrow.